Welcome all to 5 Minutes with Kerusso. I'm Whitney. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today. So I was going through some old passages that I had set aside for my self-care series that I did a little while ago, and I found one that stood out to me that I'll share with you today from Matthew 10, verses 7 through 8 and 14 through 16. And I think there's an interesting little lesson in here about drawing healthy boundaries for yourself. Because that's important, right? Because we, as people, are asked to give a lot of ourselves in a lot of different ways. That could be time, it could be labor, it could be emotional labor, it could be emotional support, it could be money, it could be even hugs. We're asked a lot of ourselves in our lives and expected to give and be generous with a lot of ourselves. Even just going to a job, you're expected to give up so much of your time to your workplace. Parents, mothers in particular, are expected to give up practically their entire livelihoods for the purpose of raising their children. We're asked to give money to the less fortunate, and we're expected to offer emotional support and comfort to close friends. And it's really easy, I think a lot of us find, to give all the time to everyone and give everything of ourselves every hour of the day, only at the end of the day to figure out and discover there's nothing left for us. And if that goes on long enough, you could even lose yourself because your whole being has just become, what can I give to everyone around me? And that's not a really healthy place that any of us really want to end up in. So how do we avoid that? What do we do? Let me read this passage from Matthew 10. Jesus is sending out the 12 to share the good news of his word. And he says, as you go, preach this message. The kingdom of heaven is near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. And that's a great message. That's a great thing to do because God's gift is so amazing that obviously he doesn't want just one person to have it. This is a gift that's meant to be given and shared with as many people as possible. But he does add a little caveat here. After he tells them what to pack, he, in verse 14, says, if anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, shake the dust off your feet when you leave that home or town. And he lets them know, okay, give of yourselves to a point. Because let's think, what would have happened if the disciples had stayed in a village that did not want their message? That would have been a lot of time and labor given to a group of people where the gift might have gone to waste and it might not have done any good. Whereas, if they listened to Jesus, leave the town, shake the dust off their sandals, and move on, they could find a place where there are people who actually want to hear the word of God, and where his truth could actually do some good and have an effect. And that happens to us too, doesn't it? Where we sometimes have people in our lives who don't want the gifts that we give or don't appreciate all the time and effort that we put into giving of ourselves. And it feels wasted. The disciples knew better than to let one resistant town keep them from the rest of their ministry. They recognized it was too important. And the same goes for us. The gifts that we have to give are too important for us to get hung up on someone who doesn't want them. And that becomes really tricky and really hard if it's someone that you really care about. Like if it's a family member who is draining you dry from love, time, affection, money, anything, that becomes really difficult to just shake them off and move on. And sometimes that's not possible. But what can we do? Well, first we can recognize when this is happening. So many people don't even see it when it is happening to them. Recognize if someone is holding you up from something greater or draining you and not giving back, because that person is not healthy for you. And if you can't completely cut them out of your life, draw a boundary. let them know, I can only give you this much and no more. And I think you'll find someone after that who is more ready and willing to receive and appreciate the gifts that you have to offer. And if you're lucky, will give back to you and make sure that your cup is never empty. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me today, and I'll see you next time.